And for Asia, a bit of an off-season question for you. As Tip Hayes was recently announced to do Unrivaled, it feels like half the Aces are on the Unrivaled roster at this point. Is that something that you're interested in?
Interested? I'm not gonna completely cut it out because you never know.
Caitlin Clark has become a standout figure in women's basketball, drawing in a fresh wave of fans and transforming the game's popularity. However, her rapid rise hasn't been without controversy. The NBA star A'ja Wilson recently called out Clark, questioning her role in the ongoing drama around the sport. Wilson's remarks have sparked a heated debate. Is Clark's success purely a reflection of her talent, or is there more to the story? Caitlin Clark's rapid rise to stardom hasn't been without controversy. Critics, from media personalities to WNBA players, have questioned whether her fame is driven solely by her talent. When someone as influential as A'ja Wilson speaks out, it grabs attention. In this conversation, we'll explore the criticism Clark faces, not just from Wilson, but from other key figures in the WNBA. Are these concerns legitimate, or is it envy toward a player who's quickly emerging as the new face of women's basketball? One thing is certain, the tension between Caitlin Clark and some of the WNBA's biggest names is heating up, and it could have a lasting impact on the sport. Could this friction drive Clark away from a league that could greatly benefit from her star power? Let's dive into the heart of the drama and explore what it could mean for the future of women's basketball. In this story, one name stands out as Caitlin Clark's biggest rival, Angel Reese, the LSU star turned NBA player who once defeated Clark in college. The two couldn't be more different in their playing styles. Reese thrives on her physicality and bold, attention-grabbing presence, while Clark focuses on precision, leadership, and a sharp basketball IQ. While Clark's dedication has propelled her to the top, Reese's flashy personality often overshadows her skills on the court, adding another layer to their rivalry. Caitlin Clark shines with her finesse and precision, while Angel Reese thrives on her aggression and boldness. Just when their rivalry seemed to reach its peak, Reese's latest remarks have turned up the heat even more. Curious about what she said that has everyone buzzing? Keep reading to find out.
I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Caitlin Clark isn't just facing criticism from current WNBA stars. Former players are jumping in too, often using the spotlight to take aim at her success. Some seem determined to undermine her accomplishments, with little to lose in doing so. For instance, Lynette Woodard, the former NCAA women's scoring record holder, showed clear frustration when Clark broke her record. Woodard's dismissive comments about the milestone came across as bitter, adding even more fuel to the media buzz surrounding Clark's rise.
My record was hidden from everyone for 43 years. I don't think, I'll just go ahead and get the elephant out of the room. I don't think my record has been broken because you can't duplicate what you're not duplicating. So unless you come with a men's basketball and a two-point shot.
Contrast this with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who immediately congratulated LeBron James when he broke the NBA scoring record. It's surprising that some former stars in women's basketball find it harder to embrace Caitlin Clark's success. Rather than celebrating her accomplishments, they resort to baseless criticism to diminish her achievements. Lynette Woodard's reaction to Clark surpassing her scoring record, for instance, came off as bitter and unsportsmanlike, lacking any valid justification for her remarks. The criticism of Caitlin Clark has gone beyond words. Some players have targeted her physically on the court. These weren't just hard fouls, some actions were downright violent, meant to stop her dominance or send a message. One of the most infamous moments came when Chendi Carter, a guard for the Chicago Sky, hit Clark while they were waiting for an inbound pass. This wasn't a basketball play. It was an unprovoked attack. Video footage showed Carter deliberately knocking Clark to the floor. The incident sparked a media firestorm, with fans and analysts demanding answers. When Carter was questioned, she didn't apologize, instead calling it competitiveness. But let's be honest, this was pure frustration aimed at a young player making waves in the league.
I'm going to compete no matter who you are and no matter who's in front of me. So that's just what it was. Heat of the moment play, we're getting at it, we're going back and forth. It's basketball, it's all hoops. After we finish the game, it's all love. I don't have any regrets with anything.
But Chendi Carter isn't stopping there. In an unexpected turn, she's now blaming Caitlin Clark for the challenges in her own career. Carter claims that the intense hate she's faced since their rivalry has been overwhelming, suggesting that Clark's rise to fame has overshadowed her own ambitions. According to Carter, the constant comparisons and pressure of facing Clark contributed to her downfall. She said Caitlyn's rise wasn't just about her success. It was about making sure there was no room left for me. Carter explained that the comparisons and relentless criticism made her feel like she was being erased, and she believes this played a major role in the end of her career. Carter's perspective seems a bit far-fetched. Rather than taking responsibility for her own struggles, she's blaming Caitlin Clark. The truth is, Carter's decline can be traced back to her inability to maintain the skill level needed at the top of the game, not Clark's rise to fame. While Caitlin Clark continues to shine as a standout star, her pay has become a hot topic. Despite her immense popularity and influence, her base salary is still in the 5 figures, which seems surprising given her record-breaking NIL deal in college. It's clear that Clark is underpaid, especially considering she's become one of the biggest faces of the league. However, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert doesn't seem to agree with that assessment.
Caitlin has the ability to make up to $500,000 just in WNBA wages this year. So, of course, they're just looking at a base which is collectively bargained. And actually, it's low because she's the #1 pick. She'll make a little more than that. But she also has millions and millions of dollars of endorsement.
Many feel Caitlin Clark's endorsement deals are her own success, and that the WNBA benefits more from her decision to go pro than the league seems to recognize. While it's understandable for the WNBA to stick to the company line in public interviews, Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's response to the issue shows she might not fully grasp the frustration surrounding it. The league hasn't done a great job promoting Clark's star power, and much of the financial benefit has gone to the WNBA, rather than the player who has helped boost its revenue. Meanwhile, online debates about Clark's rivalry with top rookies continue, with some offering fair perspectives, while others are clearly biased. A prime example is retired WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops, who openly backs Angel Reese. Swoops even justified the hard foul against Clark, calling it a typical basketball move, showing how personal opinions can influence the way people interpret these events.
It's the clip they want to post because they're going to get all these likes and reposts, but that's a basketball play. She hit her in the head, so of course it should be upgraded to a flagrant 1. Refs looked at it, they upgraded it. Can we keep playing basketball? My thing is, like, every time Caitlin gets fouled, we can't make it seem like she was assaulted.
This type of rhetoric misses an important point. Caitlin Clark is often the one being knocked to the floor in tough plays, like those involving Chandy Carter or Angel Reese. Some argue this is due to her physical build or a supposed lack of toughness, but this line of thinking can easily be tied to racial stereotypes, reminiscent of outdated black versus white narratives that have plagued men's basketball for years and occasionally resurface. When it comes to discussing race in American sports, few figures are as influential as ESPN's Stephen A. Smith. Known for his bold opinions and animated delivery, Smith took a surprisingly measured approach when discussing the contrasting playing styles of Clark and Reese. Let's dive into his perspective on this complicated issue.
So you could say it's race. I don't think that that's what it's all about, but race always plays a role in something like this to some degree. It's not completely out of the equation. It's always that, because America is America.
While Stephen A. Smith never directly said that Caitlin Clark's media coverage is solely because of her being white, he did suggest that race could be a factor some people are considering in the background. Despite this, Smith has a deep respect for Clark and genuinely wants to see her succeed. In contrast, A'ja Wilson, a 2-time WNBA MVP, has been more vocal in her criticism of Caitlin. While she hasn't been outright hostile, Wilson's remarks suggest she doesn't fully acknowledge Clark's greatness. She even dismissed the idea of Clark being the greatest college player ever, citing her lack of championship titles as a reason. But let's be real, this isn't truly about championships. It's more about the discomfort some established stars feel when a new player like Clark rises to the top, threatening to outshine them. When the spotlight starts shifting, it's easy for some to downplay the accomplishments of those who are quickly making a name for themselves.
Ooh, that's tough because you got to win one. I feel like that college is one of those spaces where you got to win one for them to even have your name in the conversation. And it took me 3 years to win mine, so it's hard. But congratulations to her.
A'ja Wilson wasn't finished. She reignited her frustration with Caitlin Clark by criticizing her decision to decline an offer from a rival league. Wilson claimed she was offered more money than Clark, yet still argued that Clark shouldn't have even been considered for an offer in the first place. According to Wilson, Clark isn't ready for the big stage, and she believes it was a mistake for the league to treat her as if she were. These harsh and unwarranted comments from a player of Wilson's stature are surprising, especially given Clark's consistent excellence on the court. It's clear Wilson is willing to go to great lengths to diminish Clark's accomplishments, which only reflects poorly on her. The rivalry between them has clearly turned more personal and petty. ESPN anchor Elle Duncan also joined the discussion. Passionately defending the established WNBA stars, Duncan argued that veterans deserve the spotlight and shouldn't have to share it with a newcomer like Clark, who hasn't proven herself at the professional level yet. However, her fiery tone seemed to go beyond simply backing the veterans. It almost seemed like she was vilifying Clark. This raised some eyebrows among fans and viewers, with many wondering if Duncan was deliberately stirring the pot, adding fuel to an already tense situation. Others felt her comments were a misstep in terms of supporting the league's future growth. Her choice of words felt deliberate, hinting at something deeper, and just when it seemed like she was done, Duncan dropped one final statement that left everyone stunned.
Who are these girls? Who are these girls that are hating on Caitlin Clark? Are you just combing through Twitter? What else are these women supposed to do? Fawn over her? Fangirl over her? Bend the fucking knee? Kiss the ring? Like, what do you want from them?
Some commentators stir up controversy to grab attention, but Gilbert Arenas takes it to a whole new level when it comes to Caitlin Clark. Known for his bold personality during his playing days, Arenas has only amplified his outspoken approach with his online talk show. On an episode of Jill's Arena, Arenas went out of his way to downplay Clark's achievements, even comparing 18-year-old Juju Watkins more favorably to her while talking with fellow analyst Shannon Sharp. Arenas' comments about Clark were far from neutral. His tone had a clear edge, almost as if he was trying to prove a point. It felt like his words were designed to diminish Clark's accomplishments, showing that he was more focused on stirring up controversy than giving a balanced analysis. Once again, Arenas used his platform to throw shade, and this time, Caitlin Clark was the target.